Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. We are so excited to be here today to talk all about the Leo King, or David Palmer, his astrology, human design, and gene keys. But before we dive into this video, I did want to remind you that we've actually done a couple of previous videos that you might want to check out. They're on the channel. We did Matias de Stefano, we did Teal Swan, today we're doing the Leo King, and we'll be doing another one closer in the new year where we look at each other's charts, and that's going to be really fun. So I want to introduce Ariel Maguire to everyone. She has been joining me for these broadcasts. They have been super enlightening and like so exciting and really fun to dive into all of the astrology and the human design and the gene keys, and to see how these examples that we're doing the shows on can teach us about how we can embody our unique purpose in our spiritual business, because everything leads to this amazing Aquarian business school for lightworkers that we are hosting in January. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I want to say hi, Ariel. Thank you for joining me, and feel free to introduce yourself.
Hello, everywhere. I'm an entrepreneur, an accountant, a business coach, and graduating from the Moon Goddess training that we've been doing for the last year, which I'm so excited about. And I live in Red Farm in the jungle with my husband. Frozen on the YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, I think we are back, but I'm going to give it a couple seconds. You guys let me know in the chat if we're back, please. It looks okay on my end. So I am just going to continue moving forward with the show. But anyways, I am really excited to have you here. I want to share with you our intention for this broadcast, and it is to show you that you can fully embody your unique design in your business and activate your prosperity. And when you do this, we're actually helping to usher in the Aquarian age. And that's one thing that we've been talking about a lot is what do we really want to teach? Ariel has a lot of experience with business background, like bookkeeping, taxes, things like that, registering businesses, the kind of nitty gritty about business. And I have been sort of building my own business, like kind of on my own, just like doing my own thing and learning how to market myself based off of like my own unique design. And I've kind of learned through trial and error a little bit, like how to do that, which I feel now I can, because I've learned so much about the gene keys and human design, that we can help guide others to do the same. And it is an important part of our future, the future of humanity and the future of the world. And so we were inspired to do these shows. And these shows basically include us showing you the charts of someone who's like famous and famous for their spiritual business and how their design actually reflects in how they run their business and what their business is all about. And hopefully inspires you to want to do the same and know that you can do it too. Because like, I think that's one of the biggest things that holds us back is this belief that we don't have what it takes to actually do that. And we do, because we all have this in our design. We just need to find the right way that it fits. And so that's what we are here to show you in these videos. So super exciting. So we're going to just dive right in and know that if you are interested I'll talk about the course a little bit at the end, but if you are interested in taking the Aquarian Business School for Lightworkers, then check out the links in the description that will give you more information. And I want to invite you to join us for a free event called Activate Your New Year Challenge that starts January 1st. It's a 5-day challenge. We're going to set intentions. We're going to do our big purpose. We're going to look into one of the spheres of the gene keys and give you like a sneak preview of like what the business school is going to be all about, but actually help you to get ready for 2024. So join us. That's totally free to attend. There's a link below in the description. And without further ado, let us dive into the Leo King's design. I'm going to do a screen share, but what we're going to start with is talking about the Leo King's astrology and what this energy of his astrology tells us about him. All right, so you'll be able to see it on the screen in any second. Can you do me a favor, Ariel, and tell us a little bit about what we're going to be looking at through the astrology while I get it on the screen?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing that was really interesting to me about, so I don't know very much about the Leo King. I'm just going to say that from the beginning.
Right, yeah.
I just like the other people that we've done a spotlight on. I don't know him very well. I did happen to hear one of his videos this week. Like it just randomly turned on my phone. And so I'm a little bit familiar, but, of course, so the first thing is like, he calls himself the Leo King, and he also has another business that's called like 12th house production or 12th house something. So, he's clearly got, some connection there. Right. And, so his 12th house, he's a Leo sun in his 12th house, just like Jai and Teal Swan. So the last video that we did, and they're all born in this. You guys are all born in the same year, right? Just a couple of months apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 84. Yeah. So, and he's also a Leo rising. So tons of that lion energy, which I love. My name, Ariel, means Lion of God. So I resonate a lot with this Leo lion energy and the strength and power that comes with this energy. Mm-hmm. And let's see. So with that, I mean, the sun in the 12th house, like this is all, I mean, you guys are all, it's so funny because all three of you are examples of having a spiritual business in that 12th house. It's like, and it's not just your business, it's your whole being.
And your
it's
brand.
Your whole,
and your
yeah,
brand,
your whole
and your
brand.
Whole brand.
It's just the
That's
whole
why
thing.
that's so cool because in the Gene Keys, the sphere of the life's work and the sphere of brand actually both are made up by the position of the sun in your chart. So if you have a 12th house sun, part of that whole brand, part of what you're here to like sell to the world and contribute to the world is your sun sign. And if it's in your 12th house, it's a spiritual business. It's going to be no matter what. So I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys can see the chart now.
He's also got.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also got like more activity in that 12th house with his Mercury and Venus sitting in there, which just makes like a beautiful communicator, very friendly, fun personality, engaging. And we can see all of that in how he's not just running his business, but being in front of people, how he interacts with his audience, how he tells stories, which we'll talk about when we get to his human design. It's just like, and you have a very similar personality too, where it's just like really good at communicating and engaging his audience. And doing all of this, especially within the realm of the subconscious spirituality.
Yes, you can definitely see that
the
whole
dreamland, all of that
12th house energy in how he runs his business. I mean, he literally like an astrology business. But my moon is actually at exactly 0 degrees of Leo. And so we have this conjunction with sun, moon with him. I feel really resonant with him and his chart because, again, I was born June 3rd, 1984. He was born July 23rd, 1984. And Teal Swan was born right in the middle. So all three of us actually have a lot of the similar outer planets and similar positions like Saturn and Mars in Scorpio, Pluto in 29 degrees of Libra. So and North Node, Gemini, South Node, Sag, Chiron and Gemini. So there a lot of those bigger themes like Jupiter in Capricorn. And well, he's got actually... Neptune and Sag. I actually have Neptune and Capricorn, but anyways, so I feel him like. So let me share a little bit about what I know about him and my connection to him. I have been watching him since I think 2017. One of my friends introduced me to him, and I was freaking hooked. And what hooked me to him was the way that he talked and shared the information, like literally gave 0 fucks. And I was like, dude, that's my jam. No, I'm serious. I felt such a resonance to that. And I was like, oh my God, like who is this guy, you know? And then from then I started watching his videos, like his app before used to be called Future Life. And everything, there's a lot of cool connection to like the future of humanity. He's always like trying to reach for that and invite us into that, which you can actually see in his design when we go into it. But I've been watching him for that long and watched him go through, various kind of transitions in his business and stuff. And the one thing that has stayed really consistent was like his fucking commitment. And like when you look at his chart, which you can see on the screen, and you see that he's got Sun in Leo, Venus in Leo, Leo rising, Mercury in Leo. I mean, Juno in Leo, Vesta in Leo. And we don't really talk about the asteroids, but that's a lot of Leo energy. Leo is ruled by the sun. And so having the sun at 0 degrees of Leo means that, I mean, this is like one of the critical degrees. It's the purest essence of the sign, 0 degrees, purest essence of Leo. Like one of the questions I wanted to answer is like, why does he call himself the Leo King? Obviously, you can see this from his chart. He has huge lion energy, but his commitment, that's that Leo. Leo is so loyal, and especially to his work. Like he is so passionate about his work. Like there is nothing else in the world to him. Of course, now he's got family and stuff like that. And a lot of things are changing for him because he's, his life is changing, but he's so committed and he has never, ever, ever stopped doing what he does. Like he literally does horoscopes every single day. And he says this all the time. He's been doing it for like 12 years every day, you know? It's crazy. Like that's intense commitment. And to me, like being who I am, when I started watching him, I was so inspired by that. I was so inspired by like how committed he was to what he does. And he like never went in the other, never like veered. And when I now, having looked at his human design, it's like blowing my mind. It's all in there. He's so like living it. It's crazy. But I love that like pure Leo energy. He also has the sun very close to Venus. And I've heard, I mean, if it was exact conjunct, it would be more potent, but still Sun and Venus in the 12th house is a really good energy. Like it's a really positive, like vibrant, alive energy. And it really exudes through him this sort of angels surround him and spirit guides like hold him and like guide him forward. And that's how I feel because I have Sun, Venus too, except they're in Gemini in the 12th house. So I know what that feels like. It's hard to describe, but it feels like you have a support system that is like right there to help you like navigate through life. So that's what I love about his chart, of course. He also has the moon in Taurus, and the moon in the sign of Taurus is actually exalted. The moon and the North Node and Chiron. So North Node is destiny. Chiron is his healing journey, his core wound according to the astrology in his 10th house. So his destiny is to show up for the world through this energy of Gemini, which is very astrological. Like any mercurial Gemini energy is astrology. It's the hermetic alchemist. It's the magician. It's the alchemy. And through that Gemini energy, you can really channel astrology. So his destiny, in a sense, to me, what this says is like, it's very astrological. I feel that too, because I also have that North Node, you know, Chiron, Gemini in my 12th house. So he has a destiny that has to do with showing up for the world and showing up in a way that he's going to speak and he's going to communicate the astrology and his healing journey, because that Chiron and Gemini is, what are you healing? What's the insecurity? What's the shadow and what's the wound? It's feeling like you can't communicate, like feeling like you can't speak, feeling insecure about your voice. And I know that he's a 5-1 in human design. And so he has another channel. I think it was the 1034. Yeah, 1034 or something. Anyways, but
or the 2034.
One of those integration channels that he actually speaks, because it's from the sacral. It's got to be the 3420. But anyways, from the sacral directly to the throat. And it's like he speaks his voice and he speaks his mind, or I think it was the G center to the throat. He speaks who he is and he speaks, and then he gets really criticized for it. So I thought that was quite interesting. But his moon also being here in the 10th house also means that what fluctuates the most in his life is his career, like is his life path. So he may go about it in many different ways and kind of flow through the energy in many different ways, but it's all going to be focused right there. And then this also brings the emotions, the emotional realm into the 10th house of career, life path, mission, purpose, where you're going to see it. Because people see the 10th house in you. People see how you show up for the world. So you can see that in him too. He always is sharing about how he feels, his own personal feelings about things. His personal life is definitely a bit on the table. And I feel like that makes him someone that, to me, I'm like, oh, like, I feel like I can trust this energy, you know, I feel like I can align with it, because when people share a little bit, you can see the vulnerability, like it's vulnerable to share personal things about your life. And that's a trait that to me is definitely admirable. But kind of like Teal, he does have a lot of haters. And it's like you either love him or hate him. And I've just been here like this observer for all these years. I've never not had my subscription to his thing. I just have been there, present, watching, observing. And it's been fascinating to watch. But those are the things that really kind of stand out to me about his astrology chart. And we can go into like a million details, but if there's anything that stood out to you that you want to share.
Yeah, the other thing that stood out to me was his fifth house, because he has Neptune and Jupiter in there. And what's interesting to me about this is that I think it makes him a really amazing manifester. And that word is becoming kind of taboo right now, but I mean like able to bring things into physical reality, able to bring his dreams into physical reality. And with Jupiter there expanding that, it's like, and he's a manifesting generator in human design. So like if he can dream big and be kind of like whimsical and like go beyond the barriers with that Neptune energy, and then it's in this creative house, fifth house. It's like that's how he's able to bring this big business vision to life.
Mm-hmm.
So this placement is just, I think, gives him this like spiritualized view of or a spiritualized way of having success in life with material things, with creativity, with building his dreams, essentially.
I love that. And then also with Taurus midheaven, he is definitely tuned into that frequency of magnetizing material possessions to you, because the Taurus literally is money, is about money and finances, and it's the finances and the money that you create. And also that Taurus energy means that everything that he does in terms of like his 10th house career is going to be like top fucking notch quality. Like he is all about quality. And that's why he has like, I mean, just watching him throughout the years, he has always put in all he's got to make sure it looks good, it's presentable, it's professional. I mean, he knows his shit when it comes to even like the technology of like all the stuff. So that's Taurus too. It's quality over quantity. And that's what I think makes him really unique about a spiritual business person in the world and, in general. It's really, really, really cool. And what's interesting about what you just said too is he has that 14th gene key as his vocation core wound, and that's the same gene key that like magnetizes material wealth towards you. It's that same. Yeah.
So
crazy.
No wonder he was able to build such a big business, and he's doing well because he's got like multiple placements that are bringing this gift, as long as he's not in the shadow of it. Right.
Yeah.
So.
And
super
I think
cool. I wish I had these.
Right. And I think that also he is it's very good for him, or he's very good at well, I just lost my train of thought like completely. What was I gonna say? He's very good at being flexible, like flowing through any kind of changes that like show up in his life, and especially when it comes to his business, which it's very cool to watch, and it's like comforting, because me, I would say I'm at like the early stages of like really growing my business. I mean, I've been doing this for a few years now, and I always have to like tell myself, no, you're doing amazing, But when I compare myself to others, I feel like, I'm just kind of right here. And then like these people are over here, and that's like my own insecurity. But at the same time, I love that he's able to kind of flow through everything and be flexible and change when things need to change, and adapt when the business needs to adapt. And that's, again, something that I actually really admire. So just wanted to share that. But let's dive into his
and that's
human
probably
design.
related to his human design, that the channel of the struggle, the 3828 channel, which we're going to get to in just a minute, that gives him, I have this same channel. That's how you build big despite all of the obstacles that are coming up in front of you. That I think that channel is what helps us navigate and like push through and keep going. And it's like knowing the difference of bumping up against something that you can fight through or find a way around, and knowing the difference when you're bumping up against something that you're not going to get through and you just need to make a different choice. So he's got that channel that helps him persevere through obstacles as he's growing
Yes.
really big.
The channel of struggle. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about his human design. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the manifesting generator energy and the aura and like what all that means?
Yeah. So
Okay.
manifesting generators are super interesting to me because they're so opposite from our energy,
Well,
right? Like I have two.
in case you didn't know, me and Ariel are both projectors, but yeah.
Yeah. So we don't generate our own energy.
Nope.
And I have two kids that are manifesting generators. So they have consistent energy because their sacral is defined. And my two children, I have one who's a generator and two that are manifesting generators. And the difference between the generator and the manifesting generator, the manifesting generators seem to never stop moving. It's like they go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and they just keep going like down their path, never stopping, just thing to thing to thing to thing. The generators are a little bit different because they get kind of focused on one thing for like a longer period of time. So manifesting generators are like sampling, doing, going, trying something out, creating something, setting it down, picking it back up. It's like they just keep going all the time. And so he's got that energy, which also, again, allows him to grow this big business. Because he has consistent energy, especially when he's responding to something, when he has an idea or he's not invited really, but like responding to something in his environment and in his body, he feels or hears the like, yes, I want to do that. Let's go. It's like that energy turns on and he's just going. Like there's no stopping him. He's going to complete the thing. Right.
Right.
So
and he actually,
I love manifesting generators. It sounds so cool to me to be able to do that.
I know. And there is definitely a lot in his chart that basically says, I am going to keep going and keep doing things and not stop. Like I can't sit still kind of a thing. And that is very much manifesting generator energy. And I agree with you that the generators have a more consistent sort of, it's different. It's not all over the place like the manifesting generator. But he does have that sacral authority, which means that he needs to listen to the response that his body has. He needs to respond to life. And the yeses and the nos are unique to all the different generator auras. But I think he's pretty good now at like doing that. He's familiar with all of his stuff. So it's not like nobody needs to tell him like, this is cool. This is different than Matthias and Teal because he knows all of this stuff. He knows his human design. He knows, his astrology. I don't know that he knows his gene keys too much, but unlike the other ones, he's aware of all of this. So it's really cool. He has an awareness of like how to function and how he functions. But yes, he needs to ask himself yes or no questions. He needs to respond to everything in life. And as long as he keeps doing that and not trying to initiate, because that's what happens with the manifesting generators, is that if they try to initiate and they don't respond first, they can start things that are like not really aligned for them and then get into situations where like it wasn't really the thing, and
they won't have the energy to do it.
Yeah, it'll feel like draining instead of fulfilling or like invigorating or like that it's there and alive. So yeah, totally. He's also a 5-1 and Matthias was also a 5-1. And okay, so I've talked about the 5-1 profile. It's the heretic investigator. So he's got the investigator thing down. I mean, I don't know any other astrologer that does the amount of research and investigating that he does. And I've taken a lot of his courses, pretty much all of his courses I've taken. And he just like he goes above and beyond researching things. He looks at stuff from the past. He has like ancient books in his library that he reads about ancient astrology. He like shares the wisdom like in his Hypergate school, which I'm actually taking right now. It's like prophecy. He's teaching about how to do prophecy with astrology. I mean, he's like so in depth about everything. And then his 5 line is the one that it's either you love him or you hate him. And he's got a lot. It's like he's a very polarizing energy. Like he's such an individual. He has a lot of individual circuitry in his chart and integration circuit, which is like I'm in my own world, like move, get out the way because I'm just like doing my thing. He has a lot of that energy in his chart. So he's just going to do him. And then people are either going to love it or hate it. And so I've watched, I mean, it's kind of crazy to watch, but he's gone through a lot of like, he's got like, literal like stalkers and like weird stuff, you know? So, and that's, I think that 5-1 can attract that because you project all of your like, you want the 5-1s to like save you, you know? That's what people do to the 5-1 profile. And then when they don't, or they do something that like you didn't like project on them, then they become the heretic and they get like burned at the stake, you know? So being a 5-1 is crazy. I feel like he's a really good example of like that energy of the heretic. And it's quite wild to watch that as well. Yes.
Yeah, totally. The 5-1s, I also have 2 kids that have this profile. And the interesting thing to me about the 5 line also with Matthias is that I feel like this allows them to build such a big audience, whether that audience loves them or hates them, right?
Yes.
But because their aura is so attractive and they have the ability to influence people that they don't know, which is different than some of the other profile types where you have like a 4 has to be connected within their network. The 5 line can influence people that are complete strangers. And so that allows them to get this larger platform, you know, on TV, he's on mainstream news interviews. Like it's
I know. He's all over the place. He's like, and shows and TV shows and stuff. So yes. I want to talk just say one little note about the incarnation cross, because I really want to talk about his channels more than anything else and his centers too. But his incarnation cross is called the left angle cross of distraction. And being a left angle cross means that he is someone that is here to work and heal and resolve karma from past lives. And I've heard this, I have a right angle, so I don't know the energy, but I've heard that from the left angle cross people that it can feel like a heavy kind of a burden kind of a thing. But it's like you chose this path in this lifetime. So life can feel a little bit more heavy in that sense. But at the same time, it doesn't mean you can't have joy and love and happiness and bliss in your life. It just means that you are here healing karma from a past life. But what I found out that I thought was hilarious about this incarnation cross, and this is like straight from the Ra Uruhu book, that people with this incarnation cross are always distracted and distract others. And they're always calling attention to themselves. And they have to be careful of this, obviously, because if they call too much, and he's a 5-1, like if he calls too much attention to himself, that 5-1 energy is going to like burn you, you know? And this is also, according to Ra, the least focused of the crosses. And I think that's really funny because in a sense, he actually is able to focus. He does have the ability to focus, but he just gets absorbed in like the information. It's a different kind of focus. And so the way that he gets distracted in life is he's distracted by the immense absorbment into like his work. I think that's the biggest issue with here. It's like he's so absorbed in this work, it distracts him from life. But I also see that he does call attention to himself. Like he owns like all these sports cars, you know, and none of this that I say is anything negative. I think it's fucking awesome. I'm like, do you, boo, you know, like, do you like, and so he has all these, he owns like sports cars and he loves cars in general. And like, he's the kind of guy that like, you'll see him probably driving around and he's like revving his engine and like flying down the freeway and he like calls the attention to him and you're like driving and you're like, whoa, you know, like he's that guy, which I think is hilarious. Like no hate here. But he totally does draw attention to himself. And I've seen, you know, you can see this. It's not difficult to see. But that's the crazy thing about this is like, you would be like, oh, well, you know, you could be judgmental and be like, that's bad. But at the same time, it's in his design. Like, that's the craziest thing about human design in general is that like, if it's your design, just live your design. Like, and don't judge people for living their design. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that I feel is so important to understand about this. And when you look at your own design, you have to love and trust your own design. Like, if you have this energy, then you have this energy, and just let yourself express it. Don't suppress it. Don't try to be somebody you're not. And so that's the biggest lesson that I see. But I think it's hilarious that that's his incarnation cross. When I was reading it, I was definitely laughing.
Yeah. I think that's really funny too. And I totally can see exactly how it's like the flip, the reverse of, it's not that he's distracted all the time by anything he's doing. He's just very focused in one area. And this is also reflective in his astrology, as is the like kind of look at me attention thing. That can be a very Leo energy as well. Like some people that I know that are the most eccentric are Leos, and they love having the spotlight on them.
Yes.
So again, it's just like he is just living his life like that. It's just who he is, and that's fine. There's no judgment there.
Yeah, totally.
It's just really funny to the extent at which some people embody all of this energy, you know?
Right? Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about his centers, like what you intuitively sense of that energy in his chart?
Well, yes. So very interesting that his ajna, head, and solar plexus have absolutely no gates.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, that means that he's like mastered those centers in his body in prior lifetimes and like isn't here working on those. And they're just like,
he graduated.
Like divine channels. Yeah, he's graduated, and they're just divine channels. And it being his ajna in his head, especially, like, no wonder he's able to like channel so much information about astrology and be so intuitive with it. And then like go, like you were saying, go back and find other information. All of that he's doing is running right through that channel, which is amazing. Yeah. And then I like envy people who have their throat and their G center and their sacral defined. It's like he knows who he is. He knows what he wants to say. He's able to say it. He has the energy to go and do what he wants and feels. It's like he's able to express all of these energies without being as affected as some of us are by the energies around us and by astrological transits. And really, even the only center that he's the most affected in was really his ego, which is interesting.
I was going to talk
especially
about
as
that.
A Leo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you go.
Yes, that's a very interesting. So basically, he has an undefined ego, which means he's not really here to prove anything. Although all of his other energy says he is, which is an oxymoron to me. But I think it's actually, if he can allow himself, I think this is maybe one of his deepest lessons, you know, because I do feel like sometimes he does try to prove himself, like, I am this good at this, you know, that kind of a thing. And so I think his deepest lesson is to let go of the need to feel like he has to prove himself. But I understand from receiving all of this like criticism, which you'll see in some of the channels that he receives, and basically being a 5-1, that he would feel the need to like prove himself. So I think if he can let go of that aspect, then he will actually be fully in his design. That would be the one thing that I would kind of advise. Because I do see that.
And what's interesting about that is his pearl, which we'll get to in a minute, in his gene keys. His pearl, I think it's his pearl, where he really needs. There's several things I think that come up in his gene keys where he needs to be recognized. So he's like waiting to be recognized by something external. Of course, like when you transcend that, your recognition comes more from within. But it's same energy. It's like he's here to balance that.
Yeah, totally. And now let's dive into his channels, because this is like the most interesting part. So do you want to share with us about, I'm going to kind of highlight it here on the screen, the 2838, which is called the channel of struggle, because you actually have this channel completed in your chart. I
do. Yes. This is one of 2 channels that I have. Like I don't have much completed in my chart. So this is an individual circuit. For him, it's unconscious. And it's basically all about paving your own path in life. So the visual I always get with this is it's like I'm in a forest and I am like, I have a machete and I am like making my way in my own path. I am not following all of the paths that are already there that somebody else has made for me to get to the destination. I have to forge my own path. And he's exactly like this. No matter what the challenge is, we will persevere. We will get there. There's a huge log in our way. Like we're going to figure out a way to move the log or get around the log. Right.
Yes.
And this channel is related to like health and it's like being strenuous with your energy. So it's like using force to move those logs, using the machete to like hack down the tall grass. It's like using this, I don't know, this life force energy that's in us that wants to like struggle through it and like make the win, like get ourselves there. Where we're going, we might not know. Like that doesn't even really matter. It's like the fight to get there that matters.
Yes.
The struggle that matters.
This is what I have
and
heard.
Like the inner gratification that comes from getting through that. It's like,
here's the
so
thing.
Good.
I don't have the channel complete, but I do have the 38 and I have it just like him, Jupiter, which means that we have an abundance of energy to fucking struggle through life and we fucking love it. And you have to let these people struggle because if they don't, they're not going to get to where they want to go. It's the same thing about the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. If you try to like help the butterfly in that part where it's like it's got to come like push the cocoon off of itself and like bleed and like open
you will
up
rip its wings.
You'll rip its wings, but you will, right? But you can't help the butterfly. It needs to struggle its way through the transformation and through the transcendence. And that's exactly what this energy is about. And it's unconscious for him. So I'm sure he sees it. We see it. Like other people will see the unconscious energy in you more than you will. But he can trust this. He will always fucking persevere because the design energy is in the body and the body knows. The body doesn't need to think about it. It just does. And I love that that's what that is because he is a generator aura, which means he has the body awareness. So if he just really trusts his body, he will freaking find the way. So I like this story is just going to keep getting cooler and cooler. Okay. I want to talk about the 8-1, which is a channel here in between the throat and the G center. So throat is about speaking, manifesting. G center is about identity. The 8-1 is called the channel of inspiration. I actually have the first gate defined for me. It's my Mars, which again, just like him, I'm telling you, we have a lot of similar stuff. So I know the one energy, right? But this channel of inspiration for him is partly conscious, partly unconscious. It is part of the individual circuit. So again, a second individual circuit energy, which I'll mention is about literally being an individual. Like it's a mutative energy. You are here to be a whole new thing. Like you're like the mutation that like changes everything and you can't be like anybody else. He has a lot of this. And so it's very present in his chart. So he's very unique. And that's exactly what this channel is about. He's here to be creatively different than everyone else. He has to have the courage to stand out. And I think he definitely, he don't give a fuck. And when he does this, when he's his unique creative self, his identity like speaks through. His identity comes through his voice. That's one of his voices, right? Because like G center straight to throat, identity straight through expression and manifestation. And as he does this, he automatically inspires others to be their own unique selves. That's why if you have individual circuitry, like stop trying to fit in. Stop. Because that's not the point. You need to be your own unique self. But this specific channel really kind of hones down into that frequency. So I love that. So he's able to struggle and he's here to express himself very creatively in his own unique way. But tell us about the 360, because another individual circuit.
And then here we go, another individual channel, the channel of mutation. This is also mostly unconscious for him. He's got his Earth, Moon, and Mercury here.
Yeah, it's the 360. in the chart. You can see it.
360.
It's sacral. It's root to sacral.
Connecting his.
Yeah.
Yes. Root to sacral. And he's here to bring radical change to the world. And basically he's doing that every time he gives someone a reading. I mean, maybe not every single time, but like 99% of the time, he's bringing this radical, like, new perspective, and specifically helps like transcend energy, quantum jumping. He can cause people to have a whole new perspective with just like the frequency that comes out of him. Mm-hmm. So again, like the individual circuitry here is really interesting to me, because the way that he's designed to, like, you were once talking about the caterpillar becomes the butterfly and how the DNA changes entirely from the caterpillar to the butterfly. So this is like his energy. It's like this complete inner transformation that he changes on the inside. It radiates out and it affects the people around him. And his platform is huge. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. And like not epiphanies, but like almost like this energy of like revelations come through, you know, like something totally new. And that makes sense because he has, you know, over the years developed his own like astrology type, which he calls hypergate. And hypergate astrology is basically like, well, in the latest school, he's talking about prophecy, but really it's about going into the portal of astrology, like into the hypergate and taking quantum leaps, like hyper leaps in the awareness of the astrology, going from like, you know, having these huge epic awareness epiphany like downloads when you tune into the hypergate. So it's like, it's just so crazy that like, and I was going to say that this is a format channel, and the format channels in human design hold, I would say, like the most potent energy if you have any format channels. And so this one thing, the channel of mutation, literally is his most like fundamental energy that like formats everything he does. He's here to mutate, like he's here to change the world. Like it's insane. I love it. Would you want to talk actually about the 2750? The channel.
Yeah, I'll do the 2750 and then I'll let you do the 10, 34, 20 whole thing.
Okay.
So the 2750, I have part of this channel.
Right.
I have the 27. This is the baby making channel. I'm just kidding. It's a very nurturing channel. It's a take care of the tribe channel. So this channel is in the tribal defense circuit. And so this is really all about taking care of the community and nurturing the genetic lineage. So like for me, an example is I have 4 children. I'm nurturing these children and they're going to have children, but it doesn't have to be necessarily just children. Although, and I think he just did have a child, right? Mm-hmm. He's dad now. But it also can be your students, right? So nurturing, bringing knowledge, helping them form into adults who have a more expanded consciousness, all of this. So, and within that energy, it's sort of a very mothering or parental energy. So there's a lot of trustful energy that is radiated out of this channel. It's somebody that people come to for support. It's like the medicine woman or the shaman, the person in the town that everybody comes to looking for advice on how to deal with any problem. And he probably has an answer for everything, especially because of all of his knowledge with astrology and just his ability to be intuitive. But this is like any solution, he will have something for that person to chew on and help them, you know, change their lives. And what does he have here? Pluto, his sun, mostly unconscious, but a little bit conscious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this.
And he's got the channel completed, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's called the channel of preservation. So it's about preserving like the tribe and the ideals of the tribe, like the circuitry, right? But and then so that we can ensure the future of the tribe. That's what these tribal circuits are all about. And so it makes sense that he had kids. He had a kid. He has a kid now. Hopefully he'll have more. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Because
with this channel, he probably will.
Oh, that's hilarious. But Dawn and I talk about this a lot, is that if people who are on the spiritual journey, and especially I think as we have the projector perspective, and so we're like people who are on the spiritual path and who are aware and have those are the people that you want having kids. You know what I mean? So I love it. Okay. So I'm going to talk about, there's these 3 channels. 2 of them are integration circuit, and one of them is, again, another individual circuit, but they kind of go together. There's a theme in these channels because it's like these gates that are like making all these different channels. It's the 10th gate, the 20th gate, and the 34th gate. Those 3 gates create these 3 channels for him. And so I'm going to go one at a time. The first one is the 1020. So it connects from his G center to his throat, meaning his identity comes through his voice. This is another one of his voices. Anything that connects to the throat is the voice that speaks. So this is why you hear his identity in the way that he speaks and communicates and what he manifests. This is called the channel of awakening. And it's mostly a conscious energy for him, which means he probably understands this energy really well. The most important thing for him is to be himself, no matter the cost. That's totally the Leo King. The more self-love, Leo, and acceptance, the more awakening that this energy activates. His identity and what he says, though, is actually so there in the limelight that it can be very criticized by others. And so he feels that people literally criticize him. They don't criticize his work, his business. They literally criticize him, but he is his business. And so I think this is something that I see possibly affects him quite a bit. I mean, I can't imagine why it wouldn't, that would suck. to be pouring everything into something and then you get criticized for it, whoo, that's a little intense. I don't know if I could handle that. Thank God I'm a 2-4.
And it's his identity. Yeah. Right, his identity is getting criticized.
Right. So that's a gnarly energy. These people can speak with real power, right? G center directly to the throat, and they need to be recognized by others, which in a sense that is that kind of attention seeking energy that he holds that frequency of in his incarnation cross and in a few other places. I'm just kidding.
A few other places.
But anyways, yes. So, but let's talk a little bit about what the integration circuit is. This is the defining phrase of the integration circuit. I love myself and I empower myself by listening to my intuition in the now. So the more that he's present and the more that he is himself, the more that he's going to actually succeed in being this beautiful example for others to follow in their own, in their own selves. Because that's what these last 3 channels are all about, him being him, and he has to do it. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. He has to be him. And when he does that, you actually inspire other people hey, I want to be me too, and that's that whole energy. So it's powerful. It's his north freaking node on the 20th gate, the gate of the now in the north node. He needs to be here now, be here now. And he also has Neptune and design Neptune. And that's intuitive energy. So he's very intuitive about, really presently intuitive. I love that. Then the next channel is
his north node is on the channel of awakening. That's
right. Yeah. And then the next one is the 1034. So again, the 10th gate, but this one connected to his sacral. So this is called the channel of exploration. And I love this. It's mostly conscious for him, so he's probably aware of it. It is individual circuit, which means he's got to be himself. He's got to do the thing himself. He's not here to be like anybody else. This channel says he's here to do what he loves. He has to. If he doesn't do what he loves, he's not going to have that life force energy coming from the sacral. Literally, right? It also inspires inner strength in others, when he loves himself. This is an energy that they need to do what they want. They have to do what they want. They have to. And that aspect is what I think makes him seem selfish, but it's like none of his concern. That should not matter to him at all. Like his design says you need to do what you want. You have to, because that's part of life. You need to explore. And the only way to do that is to go do the things that you want. So I think that's actually beautiful. And then the last channel here is the 2034, which is called the channel of charisma. And a lot of people that have this channel are, they have like good like TV personalities and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The social sphere is like, is easy for them. This is all conscious energy for him. It's also integration circuit, which means he's here to really, truly just be himself. This channel says that he's self-absorbed in constant activity and therefore unavailable to the outside world. So like this is the channel that I see so much in him. The other energy, his charisma comes from doing what he loves. This is I can't sit down energy. And they can act impulsively on thoughts with disastrous consequences if they do not respond first. So I've seen all of this in him throughout like all the years that I've watched him. He is so much in his work. He is so much like he can't sit still, but he's like always, like as a true manifesting, generator, he's like jumping around and focusing, but at the same time, kind of all over the place. And the more that he does that though, because he loves it, that's the key. He has to love it. If he doesn't love it, it's going to drain him. It's going to feel like doesn't feel good, all that stuff. So overall, like looking at all of his channels, they really do say he is the fucking Leo king and he's here to be the Leo king. And
he's here to be the Leo king.
and no if, and, or buts. You know what I mean? Like exactly. This is who he is. And if he's loving it, then he's going to inspire the world. And I love that. I love his human design.
And he's going to bother people too. If he's living his design, he's going to inspire and transform and bother people.
Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to dive into his Gene Keys Pearl sequence. And this is the part that we really want to showcase, because this is the part that we're going to teach you in our Aquarian Business School for Lightworkers. How to activate your prosperity, how to know what your vocation is, where to find your vocation in your chart, who is the best, what is the best environment for you to work in, and what is your brand, and what activates that energy of prosperity in your life. So this should be fun. Do you want to start us off with his core wound / vocation?
We're going to start with his core wound vocation sphere, which is the prenatal Mars. This sphere is basically determined at conception and the 9 months in the womb. And this is really interesting because he has the exact same gene key and line as Teal Swan here. And it's the 14.3. The 14th gene key is radiating prosperity. In its shadow, it's compromise. In its gift, competence. And in its city, I never can say this word. Bounteousness. Yes. The fascinating thing about this gene key to me is their ability to magnetize material wealth and the right support, like the right people around them to help them magnetize all of this. And how crazy that both of them are sort of in just very similar positions, like within the media and like being so well known, and their ability to manifest that dream of theirs. Mm-hmm. That's in a large part the 14th gene key here, but also the third line. The third line is strategy, the producer. This is the most successful of all the lines in business in this position. They have the talent and energy to serve a higher purpose. This is like
such a producer. He's such a producer. It's not even funny. Yes. Continue.
He's literally producing things. Yes. They can make tons of money empowering and helping others as long as they're in alignment with universal flow. They want to help people who are in need, and they are basically in the hub of the community in mainstream culture, moving with the people, being in the media, being on TV, like having this presence in front of an audience, working with an audience. All of this you can see in both the Leo King and Teal Swan. I think it's fascinating that they have the same gene key right here. Like what are the chances of that?
And you know what's even crazier is that they also have the same gene key in their culture. Okay. So I'll talk about that one. So the culture is determined by your prenatal Jupiter position, and it has to do with what is the best environment for you to work in. Like where do you really, because all of this is about activating your prosperity. So the best environment for him is that line 4, which is the network. So this is about collective consciousness. Okay, this is insane because literally, those of you that know him or know what I'm about to say, his little line that he says every time he starts the video is, I can't remember it exactly, but he's like, "I am the Leo King and I'm here to illuminate the collective conscious." Not even fucking joking. Word for word. Okay. So,
that's wild. I wonder if he knows about his gene keys or if that's just like a happy accident.
If you're watching, I want to know what you think about this. But yeah, this is insane. Okay. So it's about collective consciousness. It's about sin thinking and holographic patterns, which means recognizing patterns and being very in tune with the patterns of the networks of like the world, the networks of what connects people together. Like the network is, in Matthias's term, it's like literally the Akashic of the earth. We're all connected. And that's his jam. It's that like networking thing. This is about recognizing that we are all connected, being very aware of it. And this means that he's a bridge between networks and groups. And I kid you not, he is a part of many, many groups. Like, for example, like there's astrologers that are like, they do this astrology, and then astrologers that are like these kind of astrologers, and he kind of bounces around. He's been in all these different communities. He gets invited to speak like at Conscious Life Expo and stuff like that, and he's like all over, like, and his whole thing is a network. His whole thing is like High Vibe TV network. This is crazy. Anyways, he is a true pioneer in connecting us in our modern culture. And I freaking love that. And then the gene key that's here is the 38, which is that frequency of Jupiter for him too. It's the warrior of the light. He's a warrior of the fucking light for humanity, for the collective, to illuminate the collective consciousness, pioneering new connectivity in our modern culture. And how he does it is he moves through that. He transmutes that shadow of struggle to the gift of perseverance, eventually leads to fucking honor. Like, dude. Okay, I'm done.
Isn't this your pearl too? The 38?
It's my pearl.
And this is my attraction, because we have opposite pearl and attraction spheres.
Mm-hmm.
This warrior of light. This is a fascinating one.
No, this is epic.
And also Teal Swan has this one
here too,
in the same location, which is just blowing my mind that they have these two. Right? I mean, is that possibly because they were born close together, and you too in there? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, tell us about his brand.
You want to do the life's work. The brand.
Do you want me to do it? You want me to do it? You want to do? You do it.
Either way. Okay.
We can do it together.
The brand, the life's work sphere is also your brand. And this is your sun sign. So we were talking about this earlier. This is crazy, you guys. So he has the 56th gene key here. The shadow is distraction. The gift is enrichment. The city is intoxication. The crazy thing about this gene key is that he is it literally says in the book, he's the divine, it's the divine entertainment business. And what this means is, it's like the way that it was describing it, and like when you're reading these gene keys, like they're very like zoomed out perspective, like it's a contemplative thing when you're reading this, right? But it was talking about how like this gene key is all about the ability to take things that are like basically toxic and transmute them into a higher frequency. It's like the ascension process. It's like the ascension of consciousness. It's like, and when you do that, you take down the shield of the mind, or the veil of the mind, and you move into the heart, and that love frequency is irradiating out, and it then and this essentially changes the world. I mean, the way that Richard Rudd talks about this in the book is that this is how we're going to collectively change the world. And it's talking about this gene key. And when we all start radiating in that way, when we've all transmuted all of this lower frequency stuff and we start radiating out from our hearts, our world and our interaction with each other changes, and it becomes more entertaining. And it's like he is in the business of showing us that. He is an example of this process.
That's what he's here to sell.
Starting to embody. Yeah, he's selling
This is his brand. The divine entertainment business? Like what?
And the timing of this, like where we are at right now with the shift in collective consciousness and this process that we're all going through. He's basically embodying that through his blueprint for us all to follow, but it's like in an entertaining love, like frequency of like, this is so much fun. Yes, it is. He's selling it to all of us. Yes, it is.
There's this phrase that describes this energy. It says that these people are divine drunks that come staggering into the world of form. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, because he's like drunk with what he does, you know? He's like just like so in it that like he's like staggers into the world of form in his like divine entertainment business to show us the divine, you know? And it is entertaining. And it's like, and he actually has been in entertainment business for reals. He was in like a reality TV show. He's been on other TV shows. He was like a celebrity astrologer. He's like, he lived like the Hollywood life. Like I can't with this. This is crazy.
I know. This is awesome. And this gene key also was talking about, this is like kind of another one, like oxymoron within all of his blueprint, because it's talking about how our true enjoyment comes from within. And we were talking earlier about how this is kind of one of his like themed lessons of like, yes, he needs that recognition from the external, but he's ultimately here to find that from himself. And like, you can see that reflected in our collective. One great example is how we're all always on our phones, and we're all always distracted with all of this external stimulus, right? Mm-hmm. And divine love and transformation is actually found from within. And so here's that theme again for him, woven through all his whole blueprint, through all the systems. So fascinating.
Super fascinating.
Oh, I didn't even talk about the line. That was just the gene key.
Right.
So the line here, it's the 56.5. He's the fixer, here to offer wisdom and practical solutions, grounded practical wisdom. He's balancing between feeling and acting. This is like exactly what he's doing. This is so funny to me. And he offers solutions. That's how he does advertising. He's offering solutions that his audience needs. They don't have to ask that question. He's just offering them. And that's how he grabs their attention.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people love watching him because he's always like, you know, this is what the astrology is, and this is how it's affecting us, and this is how to handle the energy that's coming up this week, tomorrow, today, next, you know, like next year, like literally constantly doing it. So yeah.
And then people are like, subscribe. Like, yes, I'll take more of that tomorrow. Thank you.
That's hilarious. And then we finally come to his pearl, which is the activation of prosperity in your chart. He's got the 58th gene key, which moves from the shadow of dissatisfaction to the gift of vitality to the city of bliss. And really, it's about moving from the energy of stress to bliss. And I think that's his biggest like journey in this life, is like he will activate prosperity when he like lets go of that shadow of being like dissatisfied about things and stepping, and because he does that, the vitality returns to him, and that vitality is going to take him so freaking far. Like it's like amazing. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He's got line 2 here, which is all about recognition. So it's about having effortless gifts that he's recognized for. I mean, honestly, like he's an amazing astrologer, and I don't even know how he did it, because no one else is doing what he does in terms of astrology. Like I haven't seen anyone else. And he says it a lot himself, but it's true. No one does astrology like he does, and it's effortless for him. And he's like, well, it's easy. It's like this and like this and like this. And you're like, okay, but he is definitely recognized for it. And that activates his prosperity. He's also here to learn to receive too. Cause like he gives nonstop, and he needs to learn to receive. And that's a huge part of what's going to activate prosperity for him. He also is somebody who loves investing in others and seeing them be recognized. So that is really cool about him. Although I will say that most of his energy though is he is an individual. He is 100% an individual, like mystical energy that is here to just bring something totally new into the world. But he also loves to see other people rise and like, support other people. And I have seen that in him as well. And prosperity for this line is about finding those that you recognize and that recognize you. And so if he can stick with that alignment, that 5-1 energy isn't going to like burn him at the stake. It's actually going to help him. So I think it's so beautiful. So yeah, all of this is amazing. And anything else you want to add?
No, I'll just say at the end a little bit about his business, because I want to kind of tie this into how he's like, we can see because he's a public figure, like how all of this is expressing for him. Mm-hmm. But like behind the scenes, how he's actually making money doing all of this is he's charging a lot of money for astrology readings because he can. And he clearly knows his worth in that department. Mm-hmm. It also seems like he's trained people underneath him so that you can like get a reading through his website and be from somebody that's like working for him or connected into his circle there. And so that's for him. Some of that is like passive income if he has somebody else doing the reading. Some of it's active income if he's sitting down right in front of you, he's charging a lot of money because he knows what the value is there. And then he has a store where he sells apparel. That's just passive income. So he is making that money while he's sleeping. Very smart. He has a membership program. So this High Vibe TV, and he has different tiers. So just like in his design, we were talking about, he cares about people who are in need. So there's a lower tier that is very affordable. And then there's more expensive tier. And that membership, we're seeing that everywhere, but that's a really awesome way to make money right now. And to be able to show up doing whatever creative things he feels like doing for that period of time, right? He's just like, as a manifesting generator. And again, like, as we were seeing through his design, very creative, wanting to be himself, marching to his own drum. Like with a membership, he's able to say what he wants in his own private area that's not going to get taken down by like YouTube or whatever. And he's able to design what he wants to do based on how he's feeling for that season. And like have his own space, his own community where he's like being himself, and he has people there who are giving their money to see that.
This is that individual.
Did you want to say something?
Yes. Could you tell?
Yes.
This is that individual frequency, literally at work, in how he presents his business. Like, and I align with this so much because I only have one channel in my chart. I'm a mental projector, and my one channel is individual, right? And so I have I do my own thing. I have my own community. People come into it and it's like Jai's world, but it's like people love the Jai world. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's why people come in, and it's the same thing with him. It's the Leo King world, and people come in because they want to see the Leo King, and they want to see what he does and what he has to offer, and like it's fucking entertaining as fuck, dude. Like the highs and I mean not the lows, you know, but like just watching the whole thing, you know. And sometimes he just cracks me up like hardcore with the things that come out of his mouth. It's insane. So, but anyways, long story short, you guys, this was an example of someone who is like living his design, and it is completely showing in how he runs his spiritual business. And Ariel and I are so inspired by all of these different examples that we have put together an amazing 6-week school called the Aquarian Business School for Lightworkers, where we're going to guide you through learning all of the things about embodying your unique design based off of your astrology, based off of your human design, and especially based off of your gene keys that tells you literally like, what is your brand? We're going to guide you through the whole process of coming up with, if you don't have a business name, your business name. And where would you get your business name? The inspiration, where do you find that? You know, where do you collect that information? We're going to guide you through all of that. We're going to do meditations, Akashic journeys to help us channel this, because this is the Aquarian age that we're moving into, and we need to learn how to use these unique gifts. Each and every single one of us has to learn to do this. So we're inspired by that. We're inspired ourselves to do that ourselves. We've been, you know, working on doing that ourselves. But this has just been such a fun process of discovering. And we hope that you are inspired to join us as well in this Aquarian Business School. It starts on January 11th, and we are actually hosting a free event. And the event is called Activate Your New Year Challenge. And it's a 5-day event that starts January 1st. We're going to set intentions for the new year. We're going to do Akashic journeys. We're going to channel. We're going to download. We're going to teach you how to do that. And we're going to tap into like how to set ourselves up for success for 2024 and give you a sneak peek into what the business school is going to be all about. And do you want to tell them about the special that we're having?
Yeah. So if you guys sign up for the business school for lightworkers by December 31st, we're going to give you 2 freebies. You're going to get your human design map from Jai, which is $108 value. It's just so that you have that all put together before you start the course. And then you'll get a free 30-minute like business coaching session with me, which we can do either during the course or after the course. Whenever it's in the best alignment for you, where you can ask me anything about accounting, setting up your business, tax, how tax specifically applies to you in your state or location, all of that. So if you sign up by December 31st, you'll get those 2 freebies. And you can find the link to register will be in the description box of this video.
Thank you. And if you are ready to freaking know what your unique design is in this same way that we've been doing in these broadcasts, then come join us, because that's what we want. We want everybody to be able to feel alive, fulfilled, happy, joyful, and making money. Yes. You know, activating that prosperity, you know, energy. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Ariel, for joining me for this broadcast. Our next broadcast that we're going to do is going to be in the new year, but I'm really excited because we are going to look at each other's charts and read each other's charts live on YouTube. I honestly can't wait, and show you guys our designs and what you get. Basically, we're going to be your teachers, right? So we'll show you what our gifts are, what our uniqueness is, and what we're bringing to the table for the school. So can't freaking wait. Thank you guys all so much. And I hope you guys, we hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week, and definitely check out all the links below and join us for the New Year Challenge and the business school. So Sat Nam, and we'll see you again next time.